Good morning to you all. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Monday. What a lovely day it is today. Very sunny outside, bit warmer. Lovely. It's the day after the night before. I start many of my videos by saying that the day after the night before. Um, and the night before this time is Antonio Conte being relieved of his duties, mutual consent, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to start by saying this. It was always going to happen. Lots of fans seem outraged. Everyone is so, oh my God, this has happened. Why is anyone surprised? Did we think anything else was going to come of this? You've got a manager who has got an 18-month tenure history. His average tenure at football clubs is 18 months. And everyone thought that this was going to be the guy that was going to come and build for 4 or 5 years at Tottenham and be a winner. Listen, everyone is entitled to their own belief, but sometimes history tells you a story. The same way that people don't like Daniel Levy and the owners because history tells that story. History tells the story of Antonio Conte. Antonio Conte is a serial winner. Yes, he is a serial winner. He's a serial winner at clubs that need a quick fix. Inter Milan, in 2 years out. Chelsea, in 2 years out. Right? Juventus was his longest at 3 years. Juventus was his longest. Other than that, he's had 1 year here, 18 months there, 2 years there. It was never going to work. It was never the right appointment. Now, whatever that means, whatever you want the word right appointment to mean, because obviously that's really important. When we say another failure of what? Some might say that he's done his job. Some might say that he's done exactly what Daniel Levy appointed him for, which was to get back in the top 4. So in that sense, it's not been a failure. Winning trophies. He's not been here long enough to win that many, but in those games, he was absolutely dreadful. His management was horrific. It's okay because most of the people that are very much Levy, Enoch, are the devil for every subject. Don't get me wrong. I don't like them, but I don't blame them for losing to Sheffield United, losing to Moura, losing to Middlesbrough, losing to Nottingham Forest B team. That, for me, firmly sits with managers. That's not Conte. That's all managers. You've got the players to beat them, find a way. However, I digress. So this was always kind of on the cards. The biggest point for me, which seems to be missing in all of this is, and I jumped onto loads of, in the comments, in loads of YouTube channels last night, loads of different discussions on the internet. And the overriding factor is people going, oh my God, another manager being sacked. But this guy's contract ran out in June. And what are we? We're 3 days away from April. This guy signed an 18-month contract for a reason. It was a marriage. I've said this so many times. It was the ultimate marriage of convenience between Daniel Levy and Antonio Conte. Why? Antonio Conte didn't have a club. There were no big jobs available, and he wanted to get back into management. He was offered £15 million a year to come and manage a club where, let's be fair, the remit is to get top 4. The remit wouldn't be what it would be for him at Juventus, at Inter, at Chelsea, which is to win leagues. The remit was to get top 4. Why was it a marriage of convenience for Daniel Levy? Well, Daniel Levy had just completely messed up with the Nuno debacle. Let's rewind. You take out Jose Mourinho. You take 72 days to employ a new manager, during which time you release a video to the fans. The communication to the fans was, we've recognized that we need to go back to our DNA. We need to go back to the football the fans want to see. And then his next move is to hire Paratici, who tries to get Conte and doesn't, because Conte said he wasn't ready. He then tries to get Gattuso. The fans didn't want that, with good right. He then lands on, then there's Fonseca conversation, and then we land on Nuno, who is anything but the football that Daniel Levy promised us. So don't get me wrong, by the way, people, I don't like any of the setup at Spurs. I get accused of, oh, you're excusing Enoch and Levy. No. The whole thing is a shambles. The whole thing's a shambles. But fair is fair. So Daniel Levy then messes up. The whole Nuno debacle happens. Nuno's given, 12 games. It makes me laugh. The outrage for Conte when Nuno only got given 12 games. You have to laugh a little bit. And he was under pressure, increasing pressure. Nuno started losing 2 or 3 games 3-0 in a row. And the increasing pressure was, we need to get a top manager to pacify the fans. So what does he do? He does just that. He goes and gets Conte. And for a brief period of time, Spurs fans are singing off the same hymn sheet. We've brought a winner in. We've brought a serial winner. This is a great move by Daniel Levy. Everyone conveniently forgetting that we'd already seen this play. We'd seen this play by play in the rule book with Jose Mourinho. And everyone thought it would be different. If anyone can get Daniel Levy to change his ways, it's Conte. Hasn't. You know why? Because the remit of this club and where the club is at, we are not set up to win titles. People keep saying, serial winner. Yes, not at Tottenham Hotspur. No one's going to be a serial winner at Tottenham Hotspur. Because before we get to the winning part, and here's the big thing for me, and I know lots of football fans don't want to look to the future. Everything is now. Let's look to the future. What are Spurs? What are Tottenham Hotspur? What's the ethos? What's the plan? What's the strategy? What's the academy look like? What do we want to be in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years? No one knows because there isn't a plan in place. So all of this, he's a winner. He's going to win with us if we give him the tools he needs. It's not that simple. It's not, because there's so many systemic problems at Tottenham Hotspur with the academy, with the pathway to the first team, with the scouting, with the medical staff, with the management, with the director of football, with the owners. There are so many issues that if people thought that just bringing in I heard yesterday, if we bring in a right wing back and a centre back that he wanted, we would have won the league. You don't win leagues by bringing in 2 players. You need a squad. You need cohesive harmony. No one can tell me that you can't beat Sheffield United and you can't beat Middlesbrough away and Forest B team, but yet signing 2 players takes you from not being able to knock those championship teams out to winning a league. It's not that simple. And I know we don't want to have that conversation. And was he backed? This whole conversation of was he backed? Has any manager been backed? Backed. What does it mean? Who did he want? Were they achievable? Were they gettable? Lots of rumours that he only wanted Bastoni and Vardio. If that's the case, then of course he wasn't backed, because those players aren't achievable. Those players have got bigger fish to fry. So we have to be very realistic here with what does it mean to be a serial winner coming to Tottenham Hotspur. And that is why it leads me to my next point. The next manager, and there will be a next manager. All of these people saying it doesn't matter who the manager is. It does. Of course it matters. The club is not going into administration. The club is still sitting in 4th place at the moment. The club is not going under. It's not going to go bust. Season ticket holders are still going to keep paying for their season tickets, right? Fans are still going to keep going. People are going to keep buying in the club shop. People are going to keep attending NFL events, concerts, Formula One, boxing. The club is going nowhere, right? So when all of this, it doesn't matter. Of course it matters. The next manager that comes in, for me, please, my plea to the fans is we have to get behind the manager, but not to bring in a serial winner. We need to bring in someone that everyone can unite behind and can realise that the next 2-3 years could be bumpy whilst we grow a team. Get rid of the old guard, get rid of the deadwood, build around Porro, Adoji, Romero, Bentancur, Basuma, Sarr, Kulusevski. Build around these younger players, hungrier, good engines on them. Add younger players to it that have got legs. Yeah, this team has got no legs. You look across the whole team, there's no legs in midfield. The one with the most energy is Basuma, who doesn't get the games. There's no real legs up front. Perisic has got no legs on the left. Until Porro came in, we had no real legs and power on the right. There's no legs in the defence. So for me, get a manager in. Listen, we can talk all day about who you want, who you don't want. Of course we can. That's going to be a great discussion and great debates. Right, and we'll look at the manager odds in a minute. But first and foremost, let's look at this pragmatically. What we cannot do now is, because some people wanted Conte, some didn't, that the next manager that comes in, people who wanted Conte to stay automatically get on the backs of the new manager. We need to get behind this manager. Don't give him an 18-month contract, because that's a signal that it's not going to work. That was always my issue with Conte. 18-month contract. How can you look to the future? How can you back that project? Get in a new manager, give him 3, 4, 5 years. But the club need to communicate that top 4 isn't the be-all and end-all. The fans need to realise that Champions League in the short term isn't the be-all and end-all. For once, can we think about the future? Please, as a fan base, can we think about, and the owners, it's more the owners than us, but can we acknowledge that the next manager coming in might not get top 4 in his first year or second year, but that we could build a young, hungry team that want to play football? Look, there's no rights, there's no wrongs. Every one of us has got our own opinion, and I only speak from me. I speak for me. I don't speak for anyone else. I don't speak for any other YouTuber. I don't speak for any other Spurs football fan but myself. But the next manager that comes in, there needs to be patience. And lots of people have been saying it. There was no patience with Conte because he signed a short contract. Had he had signed a 5-year contract, who knows? For me, that's what needs to happen now. That's what I hope Levy and Enoch do. They had the opportunity 2 years ago, before they got Nuno in, to implement a director of football and a manager at the same time that had the same ethos, that could grow this club, and we could start seeing a pathway to what we want our future vision to look like. They didn't do it. They've got that opportunity again now. I'm calling on the club. You've got the opportunity again now. Get rid of Paratici. Bring in a director of football and a manager at the same time that are on the same page and that want to build an ethos at this football club. I'm not talking gung-ho football where we score 9 goals every game, but somewhat a philosophy that the fans can get behind. Lots of fans didn't like Conte for his football. Other fans didn't like the idea of it because he only had 18 months. Some fans loved the idea of it because he's a serial winner. Some fans loved the idea of it because he's Antonio Conte. There's no right, there's no wrong here. No one can be told they're right or wrong. But I think we've got to unite to move forward. We've got to unite. And I'll round all this off with manager odds. I don't know who it's going to be. You've got Stellini in charge at the moment, but the manager odds, and depending which betting site you look at, Nagelsmann is at 2-1. Pochettino is at 7-2. Oliver Glasner is at 6-1. Luis Enrique at 10-1. Zinedine Zidane's in there at 12-1. Thomas Frank at 14-1. Ruben Amorim at 16s. De Zerbi at 16s as well. Massimiliano Allegri is at 20s. Ange Postecoglou is at 20s. Ryan Mason at 20. Marco Silva at 25. Vincent Kompany and Michael Carrick at 25s. Brendan Rodgers at 33. Steve Cooper at 33. And Galtier at 33s. There's a lot of names on that list, people. Who do you want? Whoever it is, we've got to give them a chance. We've got to let them build. People will say, oh, you're a hypocrite. You didn't let Conte build. Conte didn't let Conte build. You can see from the frustration in his press conferences that that's not his game. You can see he needs to win immediately. And unfortunately, we're not that club for him. So I wish him the best of luck. And I hope he goes to a club that win immediately, because that's the manager he is. It's not rocket science. All in all, look, it's another day at Tottenham Hotspur, isn't it? It's the club that keep giving. We keep going round and round and round in circles. Will anything change? I don't know. I really don't know. One day it will have to. One day the owners will get bored and sell up. I don't think that time is anywhere near. I hope I'm very wrong on that. I just don't think there is. Other than that, much love. Take care. Thank you for all the subscribers overnight as well. We keep moving towards the 4K. We'll get there soon. And hopefully you enjoy the content. Take care, everyone. See you later. Bye-bye.